Well, with market reaction, here is Scott Martin, Kingsview Asset Management CIO and a Fox News contributor, and Kevin Kelly, Recon Capital CIO. Scott, the market was up at first when this thing came up, but it was up because of insurers. And insurers were way up because of the fact that there's a $50 billion bailout in this new Senate bill. Once that started to sink in, the rest of the market sunk down.
Yeah, it sure did. It was a nice safety net that was out there, wasn't it, David? You know, another thing that was in this plan was no taxes on medical device providers after the end of the year. So that's another thing. If you look at ETFs like the IHI, which is the iShares Medical Device Index, that was rocketing higher. So, yeah, there were some things going on underneath the surface here that were really a result of the hype, let's say, that was coming through on this bill being passed. But I'll tell you, as you get more in these details, and Melissa, hit on it with Representative Jordan there, gosh, you're putting so much on the states to really get their acts together and be able to manage these risk pools.
I don't mind that as much, Kevin.
It's dangerous.
Kevin, I kind of like the fact that states are going to be more accountable, because the further away that people get from actual accountability, the more they can obfuscate and get rid of things. They're going to have to count directly to their constituents if it is brought back home. But let me again just ask you about the increased cost, because the insurance subsidies are going up, the taxes are going away, which I think is a good idea. But eventually somebody's going to have to pay for that $50 billion bailout of insurers, and that's going to be the taxpayers somehow.
Yeah, and that's the biggest issue we're facing, because we're having a higher incidence of chronic diseases and illnesses that are starting to sap these insurers as well, and rising health care costs. And that's because we have an aging population, and we haven't even really addressed what's happening with the budget that's going to be burdening future generations to come. So this is a big issue that they need to solve, and they actually need to solve this now. But we've seen that the biggest winners actually are the health care stocks themselves. They're up 18.25% this year alone, and it's crazy to think that. But going back, when you're watching the Democrats talk about this plan, they're saying it's mean, but I don't understand how they can say it's mean when they've promised better health care.
President Obama is calling parts of this plan mean. But final political question to you, Scott. Republicans desperately need a win, a legislative win, but at the cost of an insurer's bailout. Is it worth it?
David, that's a tough call. They've got to make some progress here one way or another. But I'll tell you, just commenting on what Rand Paul was saying, it's clear that there still is this division in D.C., and it doesn't look like that's going to be cleared up with this bill.
I don't think it will be. Thank you, Scott and Kevin. Good stuff. Appreciate it.